Hello, weirdlings, patrons, and casual observers. I began this video wanting to chat about Drottning Audr, whose husband, Drottning Torgeist, was the Viking ruler of Ireland during the 9th century. I was specifically researching Audr because it has been attested that she was both a Seid woman and queen. Now, per the Irish annalists during that time, she spoke oracles from the altar of Clon Macnoise Monastery, which is located at the very heart of Ireland. Torgeist and Audr went on to conquer and rule the northern half of Ireland, establishing their throne in Dublin. Clon Macnoise is 129 kilometers from Dublin. Today, we could drive that distance in 90 minutes. During the early to mid 800s, that would have been a 26-hour nonstop walk, and based on a horse's gait, 25 hours nonstop. So my question became, why would Drottning Audr speak from the high altar at Clon Macnoise rather than any other suitable location in Dublin? Here are my ideas on that. Notably, the monastery was a highly regarded learning center, literally a destination for scholars across Europe. Then, geographically, it is located on the crossroads of the River Shannon, where it meets the east-west land route, making it a strategic center of trade and politics. And third, many of the high kings of Tara and Connacht are buried there. To me, then, this trifecta of trifectas made it an ideal location for a university, a center for learning medicine and law, religion and philosophy, craftsmanship and trade. And it was from this location, this church, the Drottning and Seidbearer Audr would spay from the high altar. To me, this is no random choice, but quite deliberate. I have pointed out in all my books and essays that Seidbearers found in the lore were highly educated, highly sought after, and highly respected individuals. They were not some cartoonish hunchback crone concocting poisonous brews, as the church would have us believe. However, what changed the course of my query was, while reading of Drottning and Seidbearer Audr, I noticed she was identified as a priestess. This is a vulgar Latin word from the 1500s, so not one used by the native speakers. So curious, I went and searched for how she was described. Well, that search led me to a plethora of priestesses from the lore. But again, this was given by translators, often from the Victorian era, who instead of translating the actual word, chose to use words that their cultural mindset could fathom. So going through the Irish annals in Old Irish, which are the historic records that were penned by monks for all the activities that transpired during any given year, I discovered that in describing Audr, the Seid woman, the Irish monks called her a bandouille, specifically that she spoke oracles as a woman druid. Likewise, priestess, the word so readily inserted into Germanic lore, does not exist in those languages. Literally. Mostly the word given is God-wise or God-woman. Now, again, in that many of these translations people read from today came from the Victorian era, a period of rampant misogyny, I can see where any relation to God with woman would be avoided to a degree. Priestess then, compared to God-woman, seems a bit tamer and certainly not related to the divine in any capacity. So this bit of research led me on a deep dive of other such words initially used to describe the role of women, then subsequently repeated for decades, centuries even, without a thought of changing their original meaning. Now, today, there are some researchers, such as myself, who are seeking the older meanings, the meanings of words and phrases as they would have been possibly understood by the original speakers. But sadly, I feel there are too few who take this opportunity to reveal the deeper meaning of those texts that so many of us seem to care about, yet never bother to explore the translations. So back on track. This whole deep dive thing had me translating Ynglinga Saga Chapter 7, which is a saga, if not section, that most people are kind of familiar with, in that it relates Odin's ability to change shape and to lie as if dead. However, in that chapter, there is a wealth of information there regarding Seidr, and notably why Odin would be considered erge for using this source of might. But that is an extensive amount of information, so I will pick that up in another video. Until then, as always, please hit subscribe on my YouTube channel, visit and support me on my Patreon page, visit my Facebook page, and check out my Amazon where you can find all of my books. Until then, as always, remain happy, healthy, and whole.